The NBA has officially suspended Ja Morant 8 games for conduct detrimental to the league. Morant said in a sit-down interview yesterday he takes responsibility for his actions and, quote, "In the future, I'm going to show everybody who Ja really is, what I'm about, and change this narrative that everybody got." Shannon, sounds good. How do you think everything Ja has been through is going to impact him moving forward?
But Skip, who created this narrative?
Yeah.
He made it seem like we just made this stuff up.
He did.
We were talking about things and the way you were displaying, the way you were behaving. You created this narrative. It's kind of like, the saying is that we create our demons, we have to chase them away.
Yep.
Well, you created this narrative, okay, you make it disappear. I'm going to take him at his word.
Yep.
I'm not, his apology didn't seem sincere, or the agent wrote it, or he hired a PR. I get all whoever did whatever. I don't care.
Yep.
At the end of the day, I see better than I hear. He says he's going to change. He's going to change the way he does things.
Yep.
He's going to change the way he behaves. I'm good with that. We'll see. Only time will tell if Ja is sincere in what he said. Only he knows in his heart of heart if he's sincere. So, Skip, look, this is a clear opportunity for this to be a turning point in Ja's career. Because he lost, Jen mentioned earlier, he lost $600,000. It's not what he could have lost. Okay, Powerade, maybe say they pulled the ads. They didn't say they're terminating the deal. Maybe they revisit this in a year. Hopefully they put him on a probation period. You learn your lessons. Let's come back and show a rebirth of Ja Morant. Nike hadn't gone away yet. He didn't get suspended for 50 games or the NBA. I mean, they probably could have avoided his contract. So what he lost as opposed to what he could have lost, consider himself lucky.
Okay.
So let that be, Skip, let that be a lesson learned. I hope Ja, everything he said, I hope he sincerely believes it.
Yep.
And he executes that plan. I'm happy that he's back because I want to see. He said he wasn't worried about anybody in the West. I didn't want Grizzlies to have an out. Well, we didn't have Ja, if we'd have had Ja, Skip, yada, yada, yada. I'm glad he's back because I want to see just how worried he is about the West. I want to see it.
Well, that was his infamous quote, right? Okay. I'm going to read a couple of his quotes from yesterday to Jalen Rose. He says all the incidents that piled up about him, that all that doesn't describe Ja as a person. He went third person on himself. It doesn't describe Ja as a person. I'm a totally different person than what's been shown in the media, said Ja about Ja.
How do we, Skip, the media, all the camera does is capture what you do. It doesn't know, but that's Ja Morant, so let's put him in a positive light. That's Ja Morant, let's put him in a negative light. You behaved in a manner, so the cameras capture that. The cameras capture Steph Curry doing positive things, capture LeBron James doing positive things.
Many times, yep. And yet, you captured yourself on your own camera on IG Live. It wasn't cell phone camera from innocent bystanders or observers. It was you on IG Live who dangled the gun, and it was concluded by the NBA you were intoxicated.
Right. So it's the media's fault that they uploaded and put it on their site and talked about it.
Okay. And then he sort of vaguely discussed 4 recent incidents, fairly recent incidents, that these are piling up fairly quickly. And he said, but all the incidents you've seen recently, most of them is a lie, okay? Maybe so, but there are some pretty serious allegations all 4 times against you, and that doesn't include dangling the gun on IG Live.
Correct.
All I know, Shannon, is I'm a fan of this kid. I love to watch him play. I love his energy. I love his explosive athletic ability. And I love how brazenly he plays basketball. I don't love how brazenly he plays off the court. Yeah. Because a lot of these quotes are still coming from full of himself. And yet, here's the fascinating new development. We spoke earlier. The Grizzlies like to carry themselves as the new young villains of the NBA.
Yes.
They enjoy that sort of tag and label. They play to it. Dylan Brooks, obviously. Desmond Bane last night. Can you keep doing that? Can you go right back into that kind of body language and swagger? Can you handle yourself the same way? Can you present yourself to the media? Will you have the same kind of quotes? What was the exact quote about the West? That he didn't fear anybody?
He worried about Boston.
He's only worried about Boston, not worried about anybody.
I'm good in the West.
I'm good in the West. Are you still going to speak that way? Because that was part and parcel of their whole mentality and attitude, right? That was how they carried themselves as a basketball team. And much of the time, I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
And yet, last year, after they won a game against Minnesota, game one, Ja acted on the court like it was all our fault, that nobody was picking them when it seemed like everybody was picking them. And he acted like they just won the championship.
Right.
And they've won to date next to nothing except they beat the T-Wolves in the first
they won
round.
a series.
Yeah, that's all they got.
Skip, the thing it says, he said he's now more aware of his position in the league and what's at stake for himself and those around him. Ja, the only reason you behaved like that was because of your position in the league. Do you think you were the 12th guy on the bench, you would behave like this? Do you think if you weren't a star or a superstar player, you would have been, you wouldn't behave, you behave like this because of your position? It is like, I feel like we put ourselves in this situation with our past mistakes, now only right for us to focus and lock in on being smarter. You mean to tell me that you're Ja Morant and you got your boys around you and you listen to them? You Ja. You the one that got something to lose. They hanging around you. You're not hanging around them. They're hanging around you. You're the one with everything to lose. And you taking advice from them? That's not sound advice. Like, hold on, man, I'm Ja Morant. I got a signature shoe. I got this thing with Powerade. I got a $231 million contract.
Yep.
Hey, man, hey, bro, let's go do this. Hey, pull out the piece.
Yeah.
And you think that, at one point, so you never thought that, man, I'm Ja. You just spoke in third person.
Yep.
Most people don't speak in third person. Me.
Most don't.
So he's well aware of who he is and what he is. And so that's why he was able to behave in a manner as such. I just hope through the 1 week of therapy, maybe that's enough. Maybe it's going to be outpatient. It's going to be ongoing.
Hope so.
Whatever the case may be, Skip, let's consider this a lesson learned. No one was harmed. Hopefully the thing with the 17-year-old, we get to the bottom of this and we see what happened. But no one lost life. No one lost eye or anything like that. And we can move on and say, you know what? We look back 10 years from now and say, man, you see how Ja turned his life around? And he can be a lesson for someone else, and maybe he can go talk to someone and they don't have to bump their head like he had to bump his head to realize that it hurt.
Okay. I am so with you. I co-sign. I second that emotion. But I've been doing this for a long time, and my history with these sort of things is that he wasn't away for enough time to completely and utterly change his ways and the way he moves.
Right.
It's just hard for me to believe. History would tell you, beware.
Right.
That nothing really changed, except he did have some revelations about, he had to look in the mirror and say, do I want to cost myself the $40 million I have coming? Because he hasn't even kicked into the new deal yet.
That starts next year.
Whew. Okay. Well, he had that enlightenment. Well, I'll give you that. But
he needs to be one of the all-NBA teams in order for that extra 39 to make it the full 231.
All right. Okay. So will I view Ja Morant a little differently going forward this year? Yes, you better believe I will, because I'm going to be looking a little more side eye at him because I want to see, I'm going to be focused upon, my spotlight is going to be trained upon him more carefully than ever.
So you say you're going to look at it more closely. Are you looking at him to see if he still has that same swagger when he's on the court?
Yes.
Do they still play with the same swagger and tenacity? Or are you looking like, let me see if you change, do I notice any difference in your behavior?
Interviews, how you handle yourself, and reports will start. Listen, the media is going to be on high alert here. Is he still running with the same group? Does he still have the same inner circle around him?
It's hard to change when you still stay in the same environment. If you're an alcoholic and you still go to bars, boy, you're making it really tough on yourself. If you do drugs and you in the house, it makes it really, really hard for you to change. So if you say you want to change and you keep said same group of individuals around you, Skip, it gets really, really hard because Skip, normally if you go to jail and you get out, what they say? You're not supposed to associate with those people that you ended up getting in here for.
Yeah. I used to get into it with my late mother. She had huge alcohol problems, so she married a second husband, not my father.
Yeah.
And he kept beer in the refrigerator. And I'd say, how can you allow that in the household?
Right.
I'm good. I'm strong. I got this. But she was one day at a time.
Right.
She said, I got a disease, and it's going to be forever.
Did you sneak in the refrigerator and pour it out?
I thought about it because you want to talk about every time you open you got to look.
You see it right. You see it right.
You got to look right into the. But she wasn't a beer drinker,
Right.
so that was a start.
That helped, yeah. You see, that's how it was with tea. I mean, we couldn't drink the tea. That was for my grandmother and grandfather. And you open the refrigerator, there's a big old thing of tea.
Okay.
They was tempting us, Skip.
Sweet tea.
Yeah, they was tempting us. But you better not drink it.
Not drink it.
No, you couldn't drink tea. That was for my granddad and my grandfather. Get that water out the sink, son.
Okay, there you go. Well, look what it did for you.
It did. And to this day, I don't drink tea.
Okay.
I'm afraid I might get in trouble if I drink tea.
You learned your lesson.
I did.
You're a good student, Shannon. Guys, this 8-game suspension for Ja does include the 5 he's already missed, so he's eligible to come back next Monday for that game. But the Grizzlies said he's probably going to need a little conditioning time. All right, let's talk about the Lakers coming up next, Shannon.
What to talk about?
Would they be winning without AD? That's a great question. Skip and Shannon dive in on the other side of this break.